Another day in greatness. Let's crack on. I forgot to update the bloody things, didn't I? Just realised what I've done wrong. Anyway. Hello, humans. Hope I'm not coming through too loud. Seems like I'm coming through really loud. Welcome to the Bodach Show, the glitchiest live stream in the world. And yeah, it's a glitchiest live. Hang on. Well, this is a good start. It's a good start to the week. I've realised that I didn't set up properly, so I've gone live. Nowhere near ready, even though I had all afternoon. There's always something. There's always something. I'm going to get started in a second. Just bear with me. How was your week anyway? Tell me about it. If you're in the chat, tell me how good your week was. Well, that makes bloody sense. Do you ever turn your computer on? For some reason, it decides to disobey you, and then just California is aflame. Oh yes, Smelly Fingers. Sorry, Smelly Fingers. I saw that you had to prep for my stream, mate. I will reply to your Discord messages. I'm just being an absolute idiot at the moment because I forgot to check my bloody audio levels before going live. Oh, it's alright. It's coming through okay. Perfect. It's peaking now. I keep seeing it go right red. Right, whatever. I'll just have to make do. Hello, humans. Hello, humans. Welcome to the stream, my podcast, my desperate need for attention. This is my show. My name is Bodach, and I was exiled here on Earth, framed for crimes I did not commit. But I will tell you that story another night. This is my thing. I ramble, I chit-chat, and I fight technical glitches. I've probably been neuralized by the Men in Black multiple times, considering there's not a rabbit hole not worth my time. I wear my tinfoil hat on my sleeve. I'm never shy of speaking my mind. Join me, help me, enable my bad choices. Maybe then I'll finally finish a computer game. I live in a castle. It's not mine. I don't know who owns it. Never met them. But I've been here for years and no one checks. So it's all good. My man cave is here. I have my own gym. And there's this weird mirror down in the basement that shows me memes. I host my own talk show where I invite guests on for a chinwag. And I also host the quiz show, Silly Sausages. And sometimes I try a bit of open mic down at the local comedy club. I also have the honour of being a regular guest speaker at the Institute for Science, Memes, Entertainment and Gaming. You will find all my previous SMEG talks on all my channels. I'm not alone here. My mate Jasper is behind the scenes. He hides here. He's from my world, but you really don't want to know about that, trust me. He's my producer, my editor, my security. He's my driver. He's my cook. He's my secret Santa. He's my nipple fluffer. And he's also my drug dealer. I stream every Sunday, Tuesday and Thursday at 10 PM Greenwich Mean Time. Currently live and always will be. Well, actually I'm not always going to be because I'm going to get banned eventually, but I stream on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, Rumble, Trovo and D-Live. You can also catch me on X and Facebook where I terrorize people, honestly. They shouldn't let me anywhere near social media. I'm a fucking menace. I've just sworn in the first 5 minutes, so that's great. Gonna get me marked down in the bloody algorithms because they don't like you swearing in the first 5 minutes. Anyway, you can also follow me on TikTok, Instagram, BitChute and Odyssey. Head to the Bodach Show. That's my website, bodach.show. I built it myself. That'll give you all the links to my stuff. If you do have accounts on things, even if you use those things or not, if you could give me a follow on those, I'd really appreciate it because it helps me grow. Even if you don't use those platforms. It just helps, especially with Facebook. Facebook changed their rules last year, saying you're not allowed to live stream on your Facebook pages until you hit a minimum follower account number. So I can't actually stream on YouTube at the minute, not on my actual page. So if you did follow me on follow my Facebook page, I would adore you. I would actually adore you. But anyway, feel free to jump in the chat. I will do my absolute best to reply to everything. And also feel free to clip and share anything you see or hear. The more I can get out there, the more I can grow. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Trying to find an audience for my ramblings. Anyway. You aren't loud, audio is fine. Thank you, Flip Spatulas. California is a flame. What's up, Catzilla? Yeah, I got a friend. Well, he's an acquaintance. He's my mate Emmett from LA, and he's like in LA. Like, he's not on the outskirts. He's in LA, and he posted this video like outside his door, and the fires were like literally burning the houses down, like just like on the next street, and he had to be evacuated. But yeah, he doesn't know if he's got a house left. And I just thought that's mental. Like, he's actually going to go back, and he doesn't know if a building is still going to be there. I mean, how fucked and messed up is that? Like, imagine that. Like, I can't even imagine how that feels. And he's a YouTuber as well, and he's got his home has his studio in it. His entire studio is in his house. That might have all gone down in flames. Yeah, fucking hell, California. What a shit show that is. What a shit show that is. Of course they're blaming climate change, right? I mean, you build a city in the desert. What do you expect? You know what I mean? And wildfires have always happened in California. They're like famous for their wildfires, right? They actually have a season called wildfire. They're wildfire season. They have a wildfire season. Such is the problem. And it's always been a problem. They've had a wildfire season for like over 100 years or something, like ever since California existed, right? It's insane, isn't it? Like, they're just trying to use the crisis to drum down the climate change. But when you actually look deeper into it, and you look at all these stupid eco-friendly bullshit, like they won't do any forest floor management because that upsets some little animal. So basically, when things catch fire, you basically just got an entire forest floor covered in kindling. Of course, it's going to rip through and go mental. You've got to clear that up when you live somewhere prone to forest fires, and they don't reserve water in California because of some fish, right? They've got the reservoir, but they won't do what needs to be done because of some fish. Honestly, of course, they're just going to bang on about climate change. They're not going to address the problem, and next year there'll be more fires, and the year after that more fires. And you just, yeah. The world has gone fucking crazy. What's your name on Facebook? I'll add you. Mate, thank you very much, Smelly Fingers. It's, Facebook, man, that's weird. It's like, how are you supposed to grow your page as a streamer if you can't stream? Because when I first started streaming, Facebook were like, come to us, stream with us, because they're trying to compete, right? And then they changed their tune. Do you know what? No. Get 100 followers first. Like, oh, great, thanks. Yeah, Bodach is right. It's literally inept leadership. Yeah. Thank you, Squirrel Man. It is completely preventable. You can also, like, and the other thing is, like, in there, they don't even, like, you've got power lines right next to it as well. They're not cutting it back. Like, I live near a forest, and wherever there's a power line, there's like a massive, like 100-meter wide, like, gap in the woodland. They won't let the power cables anywhere near the trees because what happens? It's going to catch fire. Like California, man, it's mad. And just think about it, because California, like, just think about how quickly modern democratic policy has destroyed that county. When left wing becomes the predominant political force and wins election after election, it's incredibly fast. Because when you've got a good opposition, a good conservative opposition, even with a left-wing government that keeps winning, as long as the opposition's strong, you can sort of still have some sort of resemblance of common sense. Because obviously they're held in check. But California went so far left, there's no opposition anymore. And that's what happens. You get fucking nutters. Nutters are running the inmates are running the asylum. And you got all these celebrities leaving, like Joe Rogan and stuff, and then it's like all the wealth is leaving. You got all Silicon Valley, they're starting to move their headquarters out. And not once do they think, actually, this isn't working, let's change direction. But anyway, I don't live there. I don't know enough about it. But yeah. Whoa, Black Betty. Environmental groups lobbied against controlled burning too. I know. It's mad. We have the occasional wildfire here in Britain. And the farmers jump on it instantly. They basically get the plough and then basically just carve a massive ditch in the land. They just flatten it. They just fucking churn all the dirt up and shit and flatten it. Because then the fire can't spread. It needs, like... It's mad, innit? As a US citizen, when you see a fire hydrant, it never even crosses your mind that there wouldn't be water. It's a foregone conclusion that they work. Mate, squirrel man, I get, Matt, that's just insane. But America, you've really neglected your infrastructure. We're the same here. Our water infrastructure is really neglected. It's full of leaks and contaminants, and yeah, we don't get the safe drinking water that our parents got. If you're in the UK, you got to filter your bloody water. And parts of the UK are bloody fluoridated as well. It's like, it's mental. Anyway, I got a couple of dad jokes. Hello, my name's Bodach, and I forgot to plug my microphone in, so hopefully my lip sync's working. Anyway, I've got some jokes. I got some lovely jokes. Okay. I want you to try this one I want you to try this joke. What's the difference between a blonde and a shopping trolley? A shopping trolley has a mind of its own. Hey, he gets it, because blonde people are really fucking stupid. Right. I got another. You like the blonde jokes? Let's do the blonde jokes. Right. There was these two blondes, and they were walking through the woods, and they came across some tracks. So they started wondering, what are these tracks? And the first blonde says, maybe they're bear tracks. And the other blonde goes, oh, don't be silly. You don't get bears around here. These tracks are from deers. It's deer tracks. And the two kept arguing about what kind of tracks they'd found in the woods. And then the train hit them. Because, they're stupid. They found train tracks, but there were two... Well, the one guy laughed. I'll give you another blonde joke. All right. What do a blonde and a turtle have in common? Every time they are on their backs, they are fucked. Because people think blonde girls are sluts. Fine. All right, try this one. How can you tell if a blonde has been in your fridge? By the lipstick on the cucumber. Because she thought it was a cock. Come on, that's a fucking great fucking joke. Like, blonde girls are sluts, right? Come on. Whatever. Fucking hell. What do you call a blonde with half a brain? Gifted. Gifted. Fine, we'll move on. Fine, we'll move on from the blonde jokes. Hey, I got a joke for you. Okay, try this one, Africa. I hate it at weddings when some old dear prods me and says, "You're next." They soon stopped when I started saying it to them at funerals. Because they're next, right? They're going to die soon because they're fucking old. Okay, I was in a pub last night and Gary Glitter came on the jukebox. I knew we shouldn't have put it on St. Winford's School Choir. No? Alright, fuck it. It's just fucking... Because Gary Glitter was a pedo. I got another Gary Glitter joke, actually. What's yellow and goes beep, beep, beep? Oh, it's George Best. I don't really get it. I'm gonna be... If I don't get it, you're not going to get it. Okay. What was the similarity between George Best and Gary Glitter? They both enjoyed the occasional tot. Okay, right. Fine. Why do women have foreheads? So there's somewhere to kiss them after the blowjob. Yes! That one! Someone got that one. Perfect, because obviously you don't want to smooch the face with a mouthful of gender fluids. Right, Stevie Wonder was in a terrible car accident the other week. His whole life flashed before his ears. Stevie Wonder was in a terrible car accident the other week. His whole life flashed before his ears. Because he's blind, yeah? Because he's blind. Come on, that was good. I got some laughs out of you at least this time. Fucking hell. Honestly, I don't know why you not bother even attending this bloody comedy club, like, because it's not my problem if you don't get the jokes. You need to try. Be a better audience. Anyway, I used to be really into sadism, necrophilia, and bestiality. Until I realised I was just flogging a dead horse. Because I was whipping the horse to sexual kick. Come on. Necrophilia, it means never having to say you're sorry. Because, they're dead, right? Jesus. Okay. What's the definition of disappointment? A necrophiliac finding someone buried alive. Because they're not dead. Oh, come on. Necrophilia. The uncontrollable urge to crack open a cold one. Right, he gets it. Let's move on from necrophilia jokes. I was in Tesco yesterday. All right, mate, chill out. It's not that fucking funny. Jesus. You done? All right, I think you must be fake laughing at this point. Shh. Okay. I was in Tesco yesterday and a woman dropped dead in front of me. I felt really bad for her. She'd just bought a bag for life. She just bought a bag for life and she dropped... Technically the bag served... the bag did well, didn't it? It did actually serve her for life. Okay. There was a young lady of Dover whose passion was such that it drove her to cry when she came. Oh dear, what a shame. Well, now we just have to start over. Okay. So poetry's not the one. So I got... Okay. There was a young man from Koblenz whose balls were quite simply immense. It took 40 draymen, a priest, and 3 laymen to transport them thither and hence. That's all right. So let's not bring intellectual comedy into the room. I know the audience. Fucking hell. My dad recently died of asbestos poisoning. It took 3 weeks to cremate him. because asbestos is fire retardant. Like, retard. All right, shut up. Listen. What's the most manic and psychotic animal in the world? The bipolar bear. The bipolar bear. One day it's, from moment to moment, one day it's chewing your face off, the next day it's crying about it. It's a bipolar bear. I got one last joke. For this horrendous fucking audience. Why do women wear makeup and perfume? Because they're ugly and they smell. Because they're ugly and they smell. Right, fuck it. I've been Bodach. Thank you very much, fucking wankers.
Knowledgeable Fisticuffs. Tomorrow's news in 2 days from today.
If you are watching this, you are part of the BKWA. That stands for Bodach's Keyboard Warrior Army. Bakwa! Fighting lies, tyranny, and corruption. One meme at a time. Legacy media is dying, my friend. And memes are now the world's #3 news source behind Elon Musk's X and Chuck Norris movies. If this segment isn't illegal, it will be eventually. Welcome to Knowledgeable Fisticuffs, your sword and shield against globalist scum. Hey, so catch up on the chat. Hello, chat. Sorry, I had to do my stand-up set. They're still not paying me. Can you believe it? Honest to God, open mic. You give comedy gold. You give comedy greatness for free. I take my comedy greatness down there, and they don't even pay me. Anyway, so I catch up with chat. I think it's all right. Oh God, you've been chatting away. Fuel build up enough, and it's inevitable. Hang on, I'm so behind. Bodach is right. It's literally inept. Oh, we've done all this. Environmental groups lobbied against controlled burning too. Environmental groups are fucking stupid. Right? Here's the problem with environmental groups. They miss the point where humans come first. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck what state the planet's in if humanity doesn't exist? An environmentalist would happily watch humans go extinct. For some... what? No, when your environmentalism puts the animals first, your movement is fucking retarded. Humanity comes first, and we need to find a way to do these things. And if we do have to destroy some fish's natural habitat to protect humans, then you do it. It's as simple as that. It's the one thing I don't understand about environmentalists. I don't understand this suicidal tendency. It's like... Because the thing is, humans can't do jack shit without displacing some animal. You know what I mean? Like the vegans, right? They get their way. We don't farm meat. We go plant-based. Well, the farming of all the plants still churns up and kills loads of animals. Like, you can't not... I mean, the food chain's a thing, right? The food chain is a thing. Fuel build-up is enough, and it's inevitable. Yeah, the wildfires is crazy. As a US citizen, when you see... Yeah, I sort of read that bit already. I highly doubt they're led to drinking the tap water. They're led to drinking the tap water. I think they get their water from underground springs. Mate, if you can get your water from underground springs, it's way better than the tap water, because the thing is about tap water is, if they just put it in pipes, by the time it reached the taps, it would make you ill. and it would be full of contaminants and stuff. So they have to fill it with disinfectants and chlorine and fluoride and things like that. And it's not a lot. When you drink, it is trace amounts, but some of these toxins build up in you. Like fluoride, for example, it's getting banned now because it calcifies your pineal gland. It literally lowers your IQ, and it's proven now. I highly doubt the elite are drinking the tap water. I think they get their water from underground springs. Absolutely. And I took that personally. Yeah. Because the other thing is you do get privy to extra knowledge when you're mega rich. Like Elon knows a little. Elon's got access to things we don't. Bill Gates has access to things we don't. George Soros has access to information that we don't. You can buy it. You know what I mean? When you've got that much money and you're lobbying so many governments, that lobbying pays off in information. It's not just advanced knowledge of certain policies that might affect certain industries so they can alter their investments to make loads of money, like the Pelosi's. It's also things like, oh, by the way, the tap water, the infrastructure delivering the tap water hasn't been maintained properly in decades. Don't drink that. Filter it. Yeah, of course the fucking billionaires know. They know all sorts of stuff. How many Pollocks does it take to screw in a light bulb? I don't know. 3. It takes 1 to hold the light bulb and 2 to spin the... I don't know what a Pollock is. I'm dying. I'm glad you like the jokes. Your favourite magician. Hello, Thrall. If you're still here, hello. Hello, magician. The bisexual bear. Bipolar bear. Circle of life, that is. Yes, cough. This is the Joker's origin story. It is actually. Yeah, he was a comedian, wasn't he? I thought it was hilarious. Don't shoot me. It's not about the fish, let's be honest. It's not about the fish. We'll get to that, Eve. I think I'm going to show you a meme in a bit. You can see the direct energy weapons. It's so annoying because you talk about it, you do sound mental, I get that, but people have got cameras everywhere now, and you've got all these door cams, right? You've got all these door cams, so all the Teslas are recording shit, and every time something weird happens, they switch on. You've got all these doorbell cams, mobile phones, and people are like posting their door cam footage and stuff, and you can see the fucking beam coming down from the fucking sky. We know they've got direct energy weapons because they use them in war. The fires, I think they're and then you've also got the people filming arsonists. It might be less so fire season, wildfire season, and more so arsonist season. But when you actually look at where the fires are, it just so happens to be completely decimating land that they want for infrastructure projects. Like in Hawaii. It's funny how Oprah and all that, their property's all fine. But the properties the likes of Oprah were trying to buy up, well, they got flattened. You know what I mean? Native Americans pull this shit all the time to, this land is sacred, and then build a casino on it. Haha. Well, it was their land first, but I'm British. If you lack the manpower to defend it, then someone else is going to take it, and that's what happened to them. So, you know, the world is a cruel place. And people might think that's horrible to say. No, it's not. It's nature. The lion kills the gazelle, then a pack of hyenas come and scare it away and steal the kill. Happens all throughout nature. Anyway, let's crack on the So obviously last week we had the grooming scandal. And this was supposed to be a bill that was going to help. It involved a national inquiry. That chart shows that Labour, with their supermajority, without any exceptions, all as one united force, all of them voted against it. And everybody who wasn't Labour voted for it. Think about that. Conservative Democratic Union Party, Reform, the Independents, Ulster Unionist Party. The country wants an inquiry into the grooming gangs, and Labour, as a united force without any defections, said no. That's right-wing racism. Can you believe it? This fucking country. Archimedes supposedly had a death ray that he was using, setting fire to ships in the bay. Oh, do you know in the ancient times, they absolutely did do that, by the way. They had a death ray. Obviously, it was just a magnifying glass, and they directed the sunlight onto... Because obviously the ships are wood, right? So ships back then would often have massive magnifying glasses on them, because you could use the sun to burn, like to burn holes and stuff and set fires on enemy ships and whatnot. Yeah, I imagine it was called a death ray, but yeah, it's perfectly feasible that they had a way of setting fires in a targeted death ray. It's just a magnifying glass, right? But yeah, this is our country now. This is our country. Our government cares more about spreading the narrative that this country has a right-wing extremist problem than protecting little girls from grape gangs. It's nice to know they got their priorities straight. Being awake isn't cool. It means having to dumb down 98% of your conversations every day, so you don't sound like a lunatic. I refuse. I refuse. I don't give a fuck how crazy I sound. You're right, you do have to dumb yourself down, but I don't care if I sound crazy. I don't care. When you're right, you're right. But I do sound crazy. But all great people sound crazy before their greatness is realised, right? Yeah, it's mad. Like, people are... Like, cognitive dissonance is a really potent force. It's a really potent reaction as well. When you question someone's worldview, it really upsets people. And I've recently come to the conclusion that people do have to find it for themselves. So I never used to be much of a tinfoil hat, so to speak. For me, it started in Brexit. And it's kind of with Trump as well. Like, I was a Brexiteer. I thought it was the right decision. And I thought to myself, how do I get informed on this subject? So you go to the media, right? Well, that was a bad fucking idea, wasn't it? See, I'm obviously listening to the various documentaries and reading about the political process in the EU, and you realise, actually, this is madness. It's really corrupt. It doesn't work. You can't just have all these different ancient cultures mingle and get along. It doesn't work. You need separate nation states. You need small government, not big government. And it's anti-democratic in its entirety. I just wanted out, right? It was the right thing to do. And so you go to like the left-wing media and they're like, well, fucking hell, what about the economic damage? And then they roll out some experts, some economists, and it's like, okay, well, that seems like a reasonable argument. Maybe it might hurt the economy. And it's like, okay, but what about our place in the world, our standing? Maybe we don't want to be Little Britain. We have a seat at the table, right, being in the EU. And you think, okay, maybe that might be fair, but is it worth sacrificing your sovereignty for that? I don't know. And that's how the left wing sort of portrayed their arguments, right? They sort of, it was calm, it seemed rational. And it carried authority. And there was always some sort of expert involved in the conversation. But then you go to the other side of the media, and how do they portray it? Immigrants! Fucking immigrants! Everywhere, immigrants. The fucking immigrants. Look at the immigrants. It's like, hang on, no. I already know that I don't like the democratic process. I'm looking for a reason to change my mind, right? The left-wing media aren't really convincing me. I think it's good to leave. I just want to know what you lot think on the right side of the media. Oh, yeah. Immigrants. Fucking immigrants. That's all they went on about. Fucking immigrants. And it's like, that's what woke me up. I was a Brexiteer and I had perfectly rational reasons to want to leave the EU, but the media portrayed people like me as right-wing racist nutjobs. And then I realise if they're lying about that, what else are they lying about? And that's not a question you want to pull the thread on because they're lying about everything. You're lying about fucking everything. And he's like, oh, shit. Now I know that. You can't unlearn it. I just know that now. It's all a lie. The climate crisis, a lie. The fossil fuels running out, a lie. Minerals and whatnot being a scarcity, a lie. Moon landings, a lie. JFK assassinated for daring to want to audit the Fed. You know what I mean? It's all a fucking lie. The Vietnam War started on a false flag. 9/11, why the fuck are they insuring the building the day before? How the fuck does Building 7 just free fall? Once you realise, oh shit, great, I know this now, and every time I mention it, I'm going to sound like a fucking nutter. That's what happens to you when you wake up. You become a nutter.
What is up, guys? Today we're going to talk about why Labour...
This is Aid. This is my lefty loony mate who's built up quite a large following, and he's reached a point now, he's got tens of thousands of followers spouting this pro-Labour bollocks, so he's now a target. He's opened himself up. I've always avoided it, but I'm going to start breaking down the nonsense he comes out with.
They need to urgently make rejoining the single market their number one priority.
He's just said that Great Britain needs to make rejoining the single market the number one priority. We have a free trade agreement with the EU, you idiot. If we rejoin the single market, we'll get what we already have with the EU right now, but then cut ourselves off from the rest of the world and go back to how it was before, having to trade through the EU and not for ourselves. Honest to God, these people are so...
Now, before I get started on this, please do drop me a comment. I don't care what it is. Tell me your favourite animal. Tell me how much you're enjoying this freezing cold weather.
My favourite animal is a lion. And my algorithms know that's my favourite animal because it keeps showing me videos of lions killing things. And I'm a fucking psychopath because I can't get enough. Lions, man. Oh, God. It's not because I enjoy watching them kill the things. It's because I'm like, fucking hell, I'm glad that's not me it's killing. Oh, my God, a lion. What can you do? It's got fucking claws, mate. It's got fucking claws. Even if you manage to get your hands in between its mouth and push it and keep it from biting you, it's got 4 fucking claws, mate. I've only got 2 arms. They're fucking scary animals, mate. Lions. They're scary. Anyway.
It just all helps with the algo. Now, let's talk about this. Labour are in a bit of a fiscal and monetary hole. They don't have money.
Labour are not in a fiscal hole. They're just fucking idiots. They inherited the fastest growing economy in the G7.
Anything, and every week that goes by, I was talking to Ollie Mould about this earlier. If you don't follow him, you should definitely go and give him a follow.
Don't go and follow Ollie Mould.
I was talking to him about this earlier, about how every week that goes by, there's another policy portfolio that we talk about, that we obsess about in the news. Like this week, it's the NHS, because the NHS is overrun. All of your local hospitals are overrun.
That's because of mass migration. The NHS is overrun because in the last 20 years, we've brought in over 10 million new people and we've hardly built anything new. The NHS is grotesquely mismanaged. It's one of the best funded healthcare systems on the face of the planet. If it was managed well, it would be one of the best healthcare systems on the planet.
Overcapacity. They are sending back still actually quite unwell people back to their homes on the basis that they have this new influx deluge of old, vulnerable, very sick, accident and emergency types of people. They haven't got space for everybody, so they're having to just off-board people ahead of time. So
because
this
of
week
mass
we're
migration.
talking about hospitals, the NHS, dentistry, social...
It's because of mass migration and mismanagement. You fool, Aid. Aid Thompson, my God, wake the hell up. He's watching what Labour have been doing these last few months, and he still defends them. That's the kind of person this is, by the way. They're actually looking at all this, and they defend it.
Care. Next week it will be education. And they'll talk about how schools are crumbling and how there's no money for universities and colleges anymore. After that, we'll probably talk about literally social care. That'll be a whole week. And you get the idea. Like every week that goes by, they focus on another pillar of government. And it can be, the Home Office, like immigration, asylum. Then it could be the hospitals. Then it could be schools.
Mass migration is the problem. If you're going to import millions of people, then you have to build new schools. You have to build new hospitals. You have to build new roads, new houses, new prisons. We didn't do that. We imported millions of people without doing that, and now everything is strained. But he will never, ever, ever, ever say it's to do with mass migration.
And I understand the need to do that because these are, they're important areas, but they all feed up into the Treasury. And if the Treasury doesn't have money to fund each of these pillars of the...
Labour have literally committed to sending tens of billions of pounds in foreign stuff. Ukraine, foreign farmers. Tens of billions of pounds. There's money for that. But when it comes to actually fixing any of our stuff, there's no money. There's no money, right? There's a fiscal debt. No. What this fucking idiot A. Thompson, he's a friend, I don't want to call him an idiot, but what he doesn't seem to ever touch on is where the money goes. We have plenty of money to fix things. We have plenty of resources and money to start paying down our national debt. We do. But where does the money go? It goes to places like Ukraine and foreign aid and fucking eco bullshit.
State, then that is a real problem. And we can talk about the symptoms and the flare-ups of that actual root cause all day if you
The root cause is mass migration and government corruption.
Why is this school underfunded, or how come there's not enough
because of mass migration and government mismanagement.
Police over in this police station, or why did you shut this fire hydrant? I was going to say fire station. But fundamentally, the root cause of these things is always
it's mass migration and government mismanagement.
National debt, right? So.
Oh no, we're going a different way then, are we? Let's find out what the problem is.
If you have a national debt that is 100% of the GDP of the country, you are in a pretty precarious position. If people are lending the government money, i.e. bond investors, they're saying, here you go, have £100,000 of my money. Look.
How many billions is it a week? How many billions? No, it's a month. How many billions are we spending on migrant hotels? The last I heard, it was over 6 billion a year we're spending on migrant hotels. How many teachers, doctors and nurses does that employ? How many new schools, hospitals and potholes can you sort out with £6 billion?
After it for 10 years, then I get it back, but also you pay me interest every single year. If that's you, you're going to want to know that this government, that this state is still going to be there in 10 years' time, right? That they're not going to default on that bond. Now, they probably won't default, but if you have the choice out of Britain or Italy or France or America or Brazil,
all with national debts at 100% or more, just like us. So, fantastic example.
To lend your money to, then, you're going to make a value judgment on whether they have a high GDP versus the debt situation going on.
GDP is fucking irrelevant to the health of a national economy. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It doesn't reflect. You've got countries with a high GDP with lots of poor people, and you've got countries with low GDP with really happy societies and functioning well and with a much higher quality life. GDP is not a measure. It's government stupidity. It's single-mindedness. It gives them this one number to fixate on. As long as GDP goes up, we're doing a good job, right? No, because the UK's GDP went up this year. In the last couple of years, our GDP went up. But our fucking lives got worse. It doesn't measure the health of your fucking society or your economy. Like I said, the British fucking economy, the GDP went up, yet all our lives got fucking harder. GDP does not let you know if things are going well or not. It's a stupid thing to fixate on.
Whether they've got growth. And basically where we're at the moment with the UK is we don't have any growth.
We were the fastest growing economy in the G7 until Labour took over, and we have maintained that while Labour have going in, but we are slowing down now because, well, that's what happens when you raise tax and make everyone poorer and then commit to hundreds of billions in spending, adding to the national debt that he thinks is the holy grail of all the problems. I mean, it's a massive problem, don't get me wrong. But this is what they believe. The Labour voters think there was no growth.
So we've got no way of bringing this huge debt down. And the debt
Yes, we do.
is huge. And that's why there's no money for anything. So until...
There's money for war, though, mate. There's money for foreigners, though, mate. There's money for shit that's got fuck all to do with us, though, mate. Fucking billions of it, mate. Absolutely fucking billions of it. We still give foreign aid to India. Why? Why? It's one of the biggest economies in the world now, and it has a space program, and we send them foreign aid. India can stand on its own 2 feet now. It can stand on its own 2 feet now. Jesus Christ.
Get that debt.
He hasn't got a fucking clue, Abe Thompson. That's when, if you go and watch his content, what you'll realise the more you listen to him, he hasn't got a clue. His entire worldview is developed from the nonsense the mainstream media put forward. This is the personification of the Guardian newspaper talking to you right now. His entire worldview is based on this ridiculous narrative prioritised dogmatic left-wing ideology. This inner city liberal idiot, this pseudo-intellectual who hasn't got a fucking clue where stuff comes from. Right? The real problems in our fucking country is we don't make anything. We need to bring manufacturing back. And when you bring manufacturing back and you're making the stuff instead of importing the stuff, you then get a core economic base to tax, because it's way easier to tax things that we need without consequences. When you have a service economy like us and you tax things, people just participate less in the service economy and it all starts collapsing. He will never mention bringing manufacturing back because you know why? His audience might go, hang on, sounding a bit like Donald Trump there. You wouldn't be right-wing, would you, Aid? He'll never talk about the actual fucking solutions because he knows. He knows. He's not stupid, by the way. He knows. He's a grifter. He's a grifter,
There
flat
will
out.
be no money for the schools, for the social care industry, for to hire some new nurses or doctors. Doesn't matter what pillar of the state we're talking about, fundamentally that root cause is always the same. Follow these pillars of the state all the way up and you get back to the national debt. How do you get the national debt down? Growth. So, what?
It's not just fucking. It's honestly the simpletons. Everybody. That's the thing about Labour voters. They need everything boiled down into really simplistic things. They need to take these complex issues and narrow it down into one thing. Fix this one thing. You don't necessarily need growth per se to pay down the national debt. You need tax revenue. The problem is, as a service economy, increasing taxes shrinks your economy by default. You can't, if your people have less money, your services are not going to get used as much. It's not rocket science. If we could transition a bigger part of our economy into manufacturing, you can tax it with fewer consequences to your overall economy. You have to make stuff. Elon Musk talks about it all the time. Donald Trump talks about it all the time. Farage talks about it all the time. All the people, the countries that are making the stuff, they really, really want to keep making the stuff because it's fucking fantastic for them. It's fucking fantastic. Well, they can just tax the stuff they make, knowing that the rest of the world is still forced to come and buy that stuff. You can tax with less. You can tax with fewer consequences when you've got a strong manufacturing base in your economy.
Discernible routes can you imagine to get growth to start paying off that debt, so you do actually have money to allocate to the pillars of the state? The only reasonable route that you have to get back to growth is the single market. It's right on our doorstep.
This is the stupidest fucking thing this man has ever said on his TikTok channel. Honest to God, I'm sorry. I know him. The thing is about this man, right, Aid, he's a lovely guy. I've been on his podcast. When he first started his podcast, I was one of his first guests. He's a lovely man. He's a lovely man. He's a family man. But this is fucking idiotic. Like I said, we are already in that market. We have a free trade agreement with the EU without all the commitments. We can also join the other trade blocks, which we have, by the way. We have more access to the global economy now than we did during the EU. If we rejoin the EU, we don't gain anything. We lose everything. We've already got the free trade. We will then just cut ourselves off from the rest of the economy because you have to play fair with the EU. They have this ridiculous concept of a level playing field, which is ludicrous. Across all these ancient cultures, well, I'm sorry, but some cultures work harder than other cultures. Some cultures have different priorities to other cultures. You can't have a shared value system to then apply to your economy while also incorporating all these cultures. It's not going to work. It's the most idiotic thing Labour voters think. Right? It's just, oh my God. I get triggered by him. And the fact is, because I know he's such a nice guy and he does have half a brain, it really frustrates me that he's down this rabbit hole, that he's gone down this direction. Honest to God. I don't even think he knows we have a free trade agreement with the EU. These people still think that Brexit damaged our economy when it's beyond any doubt now that it was one of the best things our country ever did. We're better off in every fucking metric. Our export volumes are up. Our import volumes are down. That net import to export is more in Britain. So it's still not good enough. You want to export more than import, but we're better off in every metric. We have more. The NHS employs more people today than it ever has done in history. That's the truth. They keep telling you, oh, Brexit hurt the NHS. No, it didn't. We've got more. Do you know why? Because we started sourcing people from a more global audience. Instead of having to play fair and take our fair share of the global market and share it with the rest of the EU member states, we're on our own now. If we need something, we can just take it. And if the EU don't like it, then they need to compete, right? Well, we're offering these wages, you compete. They might go to you if you do better. You know what I'm saying? He just doesn't, this guy hasn't got a clue.
Similar Western liberal democracy values to our own. It cuts out on...
No, they don't. Zelensky is a dictator. There's another dictator in the EU. They don't have the same they don't have the same democratic cultures as we do. The British and French politics are very different. Not just in function, but in values. Britain and Germany, same thing. They're different in both function and values, the same with Italy. These democracies are all different. They all have their own different value systems and their own different functions.
You know, carbon emissions, if you're just shipping like right next door to you versus like signing trade deals with other countries across the world.
Which we've been doing.
They are democracies versus the other places that we're trying to do trade deals with, i.e., you know, Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, who is in command of the...
Right, this is another thing about the whole Brexit debate. It's not the Brexiteers that are the racist, it's them. He's not saying the quiet bit out loud. He wants us to be in a single market where the migrants are all white Europeans. That's what he's getting at. The bigotry of low expectations. Oh, but if we go in a single market, they're all highly educated. No, who cares? It doesn't matter. You stop mass migration and you start a points-based system and you only let people come here if they've already got valuable skills. It doesn't matter where a doctor comes from. All that matters is if they're a good doctor, a good nurse, a good engineer, a good coder. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter where they're from and what colour their skin is. If you need it and they can provide it and you offer them a life here, that's what matters. But what he's getting at is he wants white Europeans as migrants. A few too many brown people, but He'll never say that bit out loud.
She's at the helm. She's off in China at the moment. Chinese dictators and Rachel Reeves are sat around a table thrashing out ideas for how they can work together, what government contracts they can do.
European dictators they're all right, though, because they're in the free market, apparently.
Corporations can work with which corporations in a desperate attempt to try to instill growth. But it's not going to work. Not in the same way that just working with the EU would.
We do work with the EU, you sausage. We do work with the EU. And we can go to China and work with them as well. And we have both. And then we can go to America. Look at the smug face. What a great place it was. We can go to America and we can do free trade with them. And then we can go to Africa and we can do free trade with them in those countries. And then we can go to Latin America and all across Asia. And who gives a fuck about what they are and who they are? That's their problem. Is there trade to be done? Yes. And like I keep saying, we've already got free trade with the EU. Rejoining the single market will literally give us nothing. We've already got it. The unicorn they said wasn't possible, we got it. We've left the EU. We've got a free trade agreement without all of the bullshit that comes along with it.
Same thing with
and the smugness of it. He really thinks that he's onto something here. He just doesn't have a fucking clue.
MBS from Saudi Arabia. This happened.
They've got oil.
Like a month ago.
They've got oil, Saudi Arabia. They've got oil. Who cares? Who cares? It's not our place to decide what countries get to do. That's on the people. If Saudi Arabia was so bad, the people would rise up, because we used to have tyrants in this country centuries and centuries ago. And guess what? The people thought, you know what? There's more of us than you. And we fucking cut their heads off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Saudi Arabia's got disgusting human rights deals. Who cares? If they've got oil and they're willing to trade and we need it, who cares? Buy it. It's up to the Saudi people to deal with the problem, not us.
6 weeks ago. Now, MBS is widely believed.
This fucking endless virtue. We can't trade with it. Oh, fuck it. It's the virtue signalling of it. It's so mind-numbing.
Of Jamal Khashoggi, right? The Wall Street Post... is it Wall Street Post? Wall Street Journal.
How long does this video go on for?
Big American newspaper. He was a journalist, and he was a Saudi dissident. And it is widely believed that he was lured into this embassy in Turkey.
I'm going to skip the video because it's obvious the guy hasn't got a fucking clue what he's talking about. Like I said, his entire worldview is built around The Guardian, and he's got a big following now. He's getting out there. He's even been on TV now. So he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's fair game. So I just wanted to point out how dumb he is. He's so stupid, though. Imagine developing your whole worldview on the media. This is why Jesus spoke in parables. Very true, smelly fingers, because people are afraid of what they don't understand. Exactly. Exactly, smelly fingers. The problem is when people have known something with certainty, going back to not knowing isn't enough. It's not enough to just say, listen, what you think you know is wrong. Unfortunately, I can't tell you the truth. I just know that that's wrong. That's basically triggers the cognitive dissonance, and then they just think you're crazy, right? And you are crazy, kind of, aren't you? Because, like, you're telling the world that everything's a lie. I can imagine my younger self listening to that. I used to think these people were crazy. Why is the lion your favourite? Just because it's the apex predator, isn't it? Because it's the fact, because the lion's hilarious because it's the king of the jungle, but it still plays assassin. You know what I mean? Like a crocodile is like a sneaky thing, isn't it? But it's sneaky. Its entire nature's sneaky. But a lion there's a duality to it. On the one side, it's a sneaky assassin, and it's vulnerable. A lion, when it's made its kill, is very vulnerable. It has to fight off a lot of competition. But outside of the eating, basically just walks around like it owns the fucking place. I like that. It's like if you made an Assassin's Creed game of animals, the main protagonist has to be a lion, because a lion can just straight up fight you and fuck you up. or it can also sneak and kill you without you even knowing it was there. That's why I like a lion. Closely followed by the chimpanzees, which I found amazing because there's chimpanzees in the Amazon rainforest that have entered their stone age. They use stone. They get 2 bits of stone and chip it and to make one sharper. This is chimpanzees. This was real, by the way. They chip away at the stones, make it sharper, and then they use that sharp stone to break into various fruits and stuff that they couldn't break into before. And that is quite literally the dawn of a stone age happening in front of our eyes. And they have complex societies, and they even go to war with each other. Chimpanzees, they go to war, organized war, where 2 tribes will be at war, and they go on hunting parties and they try and catch them alone, and they ambush, and they use complex strategy. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. It gives you a glimpse into what it must have been at the very, very beginning of the human stone age, because we would have been just as primitive. I find that fucking mentally. That's so cool to me. Hello, ZZ, if you're still there. Sorry. I was unloading on Aid Thompson. Is this part of the reason Labour refused to hold an inquiry? Of course it is. Grooming gang ringleader was employed by Oldham Council as welfare officer. Major report reveals. Yeah, I said last week that I don't think we need a national inquiry because we already know. The few outlets that have got a bit of journalism left have picked apart at this. The independent journalists have picked apart at this. And the government have done various investigations already, and which we have now learned they covered up. The national inquiry is just to embarrass Keir, because we know it doesn't clear his name, and we know that it will probably lead to him resigning, and then we play the merry-go-round leadership role with Labour. And Keir Starmer knows that if he has to step down, they won't win the next election. Because he's surrounded by activists at the end of the day. He's the only half-rational person there. Thank God California banned plastic straws, my God. Look at how environmentally friendly it is. Oh, this was me. Facebook banned me for calling someone a sausage. Not banned me, they removed my content and gave me a community guidelines warning because I called someone a sausage. And do you know why I was calling him a sausage? Because we were arguing about football. Football. And the other thing is, when you go in that comments thread, there's people laying into each other in all kinds of colourful language, but for some reason I'm the one that gets my comment removed. So yeah, go on Facebook and try not to call people a sausage because you might get your content removed. This is how NASA's live footage works. It's all fake. As we was touching on earlier with like what it's like when you sort of become aware of certain parts of how things are working and you have to dumb down what you say. When you point out the times NASA lie, they assume that you're saying NASA don't do anything. Like it didn't help produce like the world of computers and information technology and all the new alloys and stuff that we get to enjoy now. They think when you question NASA, you're questioning all of that as well. It's like, no. We just know that they lie, right? I was on the ISS live feed. This is something I like doing. Because it's not live, by the way, it's bollocks. It's a game I like to play. If anyone talks about the International Space Station, do this. They don't like it. Go on the live feed, the one that's looking down on Earth, and you can look at the live tracker, right? And all this week, every time it went over the Cali coast, it cuts off. Because that's what I wanted to see. I saw this photo of the ISS and it showed you the wildfires from space, apparently. Showed you the Cali wildfires from space. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go on their live feed and have a look. and you can look at the tracker. Every like 12 hours or so, it passes over literally right over the coastline. The feed dropped out every time. And obviously you point this out to people and there's lots of reasons it could go down. Like, okay, but very specifically the California coastline, every time it passes that little bit, while there's massive wildfires that can be seen from space. And the reason is because that isn't live footage, it's a CGI on loop. And I know this because you can also go on the line and it gives you this ISS tracker and it tells you where it's going to be at certain times, and you can find an area of the world that you recognize and then wait. So for me, it was the Falklands. Every now and again the ISS passes right over the Falklands, and the live feed shows you the entire set of islands. Wait for it to go to the Falklands and then go and compare that to live weather maps from the weather. I literally called it in real time, saying, there you go, look. If you look at the weather in the Falklands, it's overcast. Yet the ISS is showing it as clear as day. You can literally see the whole islands with a couple of specks of clouds. Yet I know for a fact that it's overcast there right now. It's not a real live feed. It's CGI on a loop. And at the moment, if you try and go and look at the Cali wildfires from that feed, every time it gets anywhere near the Cali coast, the feed cuts off. Oh, there's many reasons it could be cutting off, I'm sure. But you have to be a fucking spastic to not see the obvious, right? The weather doesn't line up with the actual weather reported on the ground. It's fucking fake. Margaret Hamilton, NASA's lead software engineer for the Apollo program, stands next to the code she wrote by hand that took humanity to the moon in 1969. She wrote the code by hand. This wasn't necessary, by the way. Think about that. They're telling you that this woman, by hand, so there's no error reporting. It's not like you can run it. She did it by hand. And this woman, this amazing woman, this genius of a woman, did all this by hand and achieved something they're struggling to do today with supercomputers and AI. They've got supercomputers and AI. And they're struggling to get us back. Why don't you just go and ask Margaret, mate? I mean, just give Margaret a notebook. She'll just doodle it for you. She'll tell you how to get there. Honest to God, it's so goofy. It's so goofy. It is so goofy. Everyone, this is a cool movie. Me. They're desensitizing people with predictive programming. Did you see that? Freemason and Illuminati symbolism. Pedophile. Look, a subliminal message. That's not a woman. That's a man. So fucking true. This is me watching films.
What about pensioners' heating allowance? If we scrap it, people will die.
Yeah, scrap it. As long as we can claim ours back in expenses.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, if a few old folk pop the clogs, it'll free up a couple of houses.
Which we need, because we're letting more dinghies turn up than a lazy river.
Should we increase jail capacity to accommodate non-violent first offenders that we've given long sentences to?
No, let's let dangerous criminals out early.
Problem solved?
What could go wrong? Letting murderers and rapists out early?
Yeah, we could also give the Ukraine 3 billion and climate aid 12 billion.
Sorted.
Who's ready for a Taylor Swift concert?
Can't beat a freebie.
That's basically Labour summed up. UK last Labour. God knows what the death toll's going to be when this winter's over. It's been very fucking cold. It's been very fucking cold. Number of police recorded rape offences in England and Wales from 2002 to 2024. See that? We used to have it under 10,000. Again, that's a disgusting number. The fact that all the way back then, around 10,000 women were sexually assaulted every year. That's still fucking disgusting. But we're now at 70,000. We're at 70,000. What changed? What changed? I'll tell you what changed. We imported an incompatible culture who look at Western women as a bunch of whores. We defunded the police. We took the bobbies off the street. We replaced bobbies with CCTV. That's what we did. See, the CCTV is powerful. But the problem with CCTV is it catches you after the fact. The crime, there's no one there to stop the crime. It's just evidence to try and solve the crime. When you have bobbies patrolling the streets, that prevents crimes. Our police focus way too much on solving crimes and nowhere near enough resources on preventing crimes. You get a rowdy city centre where lots of fights break out, have a few policemen there. That's it. Just have them there on view. Have a police van ready. When I was young and the clubs were kicking out, the police were fucking everywhere. They knew lots of drunk lads coming out, many of them horny and frustrated because they didn't pull, so instead they fancy a fight instead. That's basically, you pulled or you had a scrap, right? That's what it was like as a young lad. And you couldn't get away with it. Every nightclub, and you walk down every street, there used to be fucking police vans and police. It wasn't hostile. They were just there. Because they knew you dispersed peacefully. You watched yourself. You didn't get handy with your fists because the police were watching. What's it like now? They've gone beyond having a scrap and punching. We're now fucking stabbing each other. And what good is the CCTV? They're wearing fucking hoods. They're wearing hoods and face masks. That's what's happened. And we've gone from stabbing to just sexual fucking assault. Rampant sexual assault. No chill MMA. Can you add Sydney Sweeney's tits to the character? Mate, if I had Sydney Sweeney's tits, it would help me grow, I'm sure. But unfortunately, I have a penis. I don't even like Sydney Sweeney. She's got weird eyes. Like, think about the beauties of the past. Like, think about the 80s beauties, like Kim Basinger and all that, and fucking hell. Like, they were beauties, you know what I mean? Like, think about like Megan Fox of the 2000s and stuff. And then you got Sydney Sweeney. I don't know what it is about her. For me, she always looks like she's about to cry, and she's only famous because she's got massive bazonkas. But she's got really scrawny boy. She's got no hips and scrawny legs. I think it's weird. Plus, all the celebrities are on fucking Ozempic now, aren't they? Honestly, what the hell is happening to Hollywood? I thought we beat that. I thought society had agreed that, yeah, do you know what? When you're fucking stick thin with nothing to you, you kind of look disgusting. We're back there again. The men don't want this. Your typical man wants some curves. Only women think this is good, and it's other women that make the other women think it's a good idea. Honestly, these gaunt, ill-looking creatures now. These get the Ozempic look. That's what they should do. Get the Ozempic look. Oh shit! I didn't even. A national inquiry into politically protected UK rape gangs. An inquiry to find out if Boris Johnson scoffed birthday cake in number 10. So true. They did have a public inquiry for the fucking birthday cake during COVID. You see that? They'll have an inquiry to get one over on the Tories, but the rampant rape of young girls in Britain, that's just right-wing extremism. I hate Keir Starmer.
Why is the guy who is probably the richest man in the world setting out, as he has done, saying that he is going to undermine the British government, that he's trying to get rid of a recently democratically elected government in this country? That is not good,
Barry,
for democracy.
You belong to a party that sent activists to America to actively plot to, and I quote, kill Elon Musk's Twitter. Labour activists in a centre for countering digital hate that was...
Watch the response to this, because everything Matt Goodwin is saying is true.
Up by a certain Morgan McSweeney, happens to be Keir Starmer's chief of staff. I wonder why Elon Musk has suddenly got a really strong interest in Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. Because let's be honest, Barry, all of those statements that Labour MPs made about Donald Trump, all of those bizarre statements they made about Elon Musk, guess what? These guys don't really like that. They don't like being abused. They don't like being insulted. So they're going to call you out when you fail, like when you fail with these white working class girls in communities.
Well, look.
Listen, what he just said is fucking spot on, right? We meddled in the US elections. We sent people in favour of Biden and Kamala Harris. We bashed Trump in our media. We bashed fucking Elon Musk and stuff. And Elon Musk is like, you know what? Your guys letting rape gangs go on fucking punished. And he's calling them out publicly. And I also want to point out that at least Elon Musk is publicly doing it. You can go on X and tweet at him if you don't agree. It's public. It's there for all to see. No one's got a problem with lobbyists in the background where you can't reply to them publicly. You can't criticise them because you haven't got a fucking clue what they're doing. And it's subversive. No one talks about the lobbyists, but when Elon Musk openly criticises the government, suddenly it's a problem. And it's okay when Labour do it. When Labour do it to America, that's fine. And everything Matt Goodwin just said is absolutely spot on. If you're against Elon Musk making Starmer look like the fool he is, you're an idiot. But look at this guy. He doesn't take any of that on board. Right? Let me make my point. I'm going to press play, but he doesn't take any of it on board. And this is what the left do. They don't listen. They don't take on board new information. So watch.
Look, it is about the richest man in the world trying to undermine democracy.
He's just not fucking listening. He's not undermining democracy. He's participating in democracy, you fucking sausage.
That is wrong. And if you can't see that, Matt, then I would be very surprised.
I've spent more of my time recently looking at how the Labour Party has been undermining free speech and free expression.
Matt Goodwin, he's a good guy. But you see what you're dealing with these people. They don't listen. They listen to this information. It's like, oh, this is wrong. It's like, yeah, but you've been doing the same thing. Oh, this is wrong. They don't. The cognitive dissonance, it's like they literally, like their brain breaks and then they just rewind and repeat what they said. Elon Musk's not doing anything wrong. It's in the news that we got the grooming gangs and Elon Musk is like, well, that's a bit fucked up. And he shared the shit. And he said, well, if I was in the UK, I'd get rid of him. Meanwhile, in Britain, we're all like, oh, why would you elect Trump? The guy's a racist and a fascist and he's so bad. It's like, that's okay. But when Elon Musk calls out the guy who refuses to act on the public consensus that we need a public inquiry, suddenly he's undermining democracy. No, Keir Starmer undermines democracy because he doesn't serve the fucking people.
Because let's...
Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon. Neil A backwards is alien. Okay. Delete this shit right now. Oh. It's the word backwards, isn't it? The name of the alien. Bollocks.
Well, if Labour
obviously it doesn't mean anything that his name backwards is alien. It's just funny. It's just funny. If there's any people who think we went to the moon, don't get your fucking knickers in a twist. It's just a joke. It's just funny. It's just funny.
Peddling the lie that immigration...
Let's just restart that one. Let's restart that one. Don't glitch. Don't glitch. Oh, my God. It's not Bodach Show about a glitch.
Peddling the lie that immigration is fantastic for this country. They have to show us some figures as to why that is. And the first thing they could do is show us the figures, the crime stats of migrants coming into this country, and they're hiding them. But now we know what's happening, the figures you've just produced tonight. You know, the bottom line is, the UK needs to prioritise, and this government in particular needs to prioritise the safety of British law-abiding citizens against the rights of dangerous foreign criminals. And to do that, the only way they can do that is by changing the human rights laws. And that's not going to happen anytime soon under this government. But, you know, if ever we needed proof that multiculturalism and integration is not working in this country, this is it. Because we have people arriving here, some illegally, some illegally, who have totally different cultural values to British values, and particularly values in regarding to women. We heard stats recently. We have 85 Sharia courts in this country, which render women third-class citizens, and we are allowing those cultures to operate alongside ours. It's dangerous for women in this country. It's dangerous for foreign women, but it's very dangerous for British women.
This conversation needs to be had on the BBC. Because GB News are touching on some things. And, of course, like Fox News is in America, everyone just demonises it. Oh, GB News, don't listen to GB News, do you? Oh, they're so right-wing radicals. Like, no, they're not. No, they're not. GB News is moderate. The problems are so bad that when you talk about them, you are going to sound a little bit extreme. But it's gone beyond the point of being able to be moderate about it. Multiculturalism, specifically with Islam, has failed. Islam is not compatible with the West. It was the stupidest fucking thing to ever include them and bring them here. Sharia fucking courts, genital mutilation, the views on women. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the Pride. How many attacks were at Pride? How many Islamic attacks happened at Pride this year? They don't report it, by the way. You have to go and dig for those stats. Every Pride parade, there's Islamic extremism and people literally die. Every single year, people are murdered at Pride parades in the United Kingdom, and it never makes the news. They're protected. It's time to have the conversation. Like, I wouldn't suggest like a Uyghur Muslim genocide like the Chinese. The Chinese are fucking batshit crazy. But like, the Japanese recognize Islam as a threat to their way of life. They're very, 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 very cautious of Islamic migration. Because Japan's opened their doors recently to migration. But they're very, very against Islam, and they're open about it. The Japanese are like, Islam does not work here. And it's fine. Why the fuck aren't we like that? Why the fuck aren't we like that? I'm sorry, but there's... I can't remember how many millions of Muslims in here. But Jasper's got a fucking daughter, man. Jasper, my mate, my producer, he worries about his daughter. You know what I mean? Worries about his mum. Worries about his sisters. Worries about his nieces. These people live among them. And when they're seen, they're fucking third-rate citizens. Children exposed to higher fluoride levels have lower IQs, a government study finds. When the likes of the BBC and CNN literally can't deny it anymore, that's when you hit a turning point. This is what I mean. The Islam conversation isn't happening on the BBC yet, not really. It's not happening on the mainstream. But fluoride is. Fluoride. People are like, oh, fluoride, area, good for your teeth. All right, is it good for your teeth? Go and read the label. Go and read the label on your toothpaste. What happens? It tells you to use a pea-sized amount of toothpaste. Nobody does that. Most people cover the brush, right? You're supposed to put a tiny pea-sized amount of toothpaste on your toothbrush. So most people use 4, 5, 6 times the portion size on their toothpaste. And go and read what it says if you swallow that. So bear in mind, most people use more toothpaste than they're supposed to. What happens if you swallow it? They tell you to go see a doctor. Don't just ignore that. You need to go and get checked. It's a toxic neurochemical. And they were putting it in the water supply. It's an effective disinfectant or something, I believe. That's why it's in there, or something like that. It's a fucking neurotoxin. And communities now, the fluoridated communities are now starting to see the decline in IQ. Like in America, for example, It's one of the first countries it's happened to. So all throughout human history, we've got smarter and smarter and smarter, more advanced, more advanced and more advanced. In America, it's the first time, the first country in the world, first time where the average IQ is starting to decline. And then when you actually look at the hotspots of where you get an IQ decline, it just so happens to be in the States where there's fluoridated water. And it's the same trends follow in Britain. Our average IQ hasn't increased for a while because there's massive parts of the country that have got fluoridated water. Calcifies your pineal gland and makes you dumb.
Do you remember what I told you, that Jaguar had gone absolutely bonkers with their new advert showing a bunch of weirdos and no cars? I predict Jaguar will now go bust. And do you know what? They deserve to. Well, the bosses of Jaguar were very upset with me, but I did warn them. Their sales figures are out and they've fallen by more than 25% in the last quarter. Just goes to show, folks, go woke, go broke. So please, any of you hanging on to political correctness, get rid of it, or you'll live the rest of your life poor.
I feel like the trans community have lost the spotlight a bit, haven't they? With the whole groomy gang things. But that's great. It happened to Bud Light. It happened to these other companies. It's happening to Jaguar now. Go woke, go broke. It happened to the movie industry. Get wokeness. Get that fucking cancer out of things. Get that fucking cancer out of things. Wokeness and all that bullshit, it's all fine in schools. It's all fine at university. But in the real world, it's another fucking culture that is not compatible. Okay, if you run a business, don't hire them. Do discriminate against them. And I don't care what that sounds like. I'm sorry, if I was running a business and I was like, somebody was like, oh, I'm blue haired and I've got a penis, but I'm a girl and I've got pronouns. I'm not employing you. Turn up in some fucking smart clothes. Get a fucking haircut that my clients aren't going to think you're a fucking idiot. Present yourself professionally. Shut the fuck up about your wokeness and get on with your job. Oh, sorry. Oh, did he say something offensive? No, I'm not going to discipline him. You're the problem here. Grow the fuck up. It's the thing is about wokeness. It's like we're not growing up. That kind of ideology is for stupid children. It's for stupid fucking children. Children and students have always had stupid fucking political views. I mean, they had the hippie movement and all that fucking shit. They were fucking idiots back then, and they're idiots now. There's a real world out there, and we're supposed to be preparing our children for them. Instead, we've filled them up with woke ideology, and they enter the world like, change to suit me. And the rest of the world is going to turn around and say, no, fuck off. And they tried. They tried to change. They tried to change to suit the fucking idiots. And they went broke. Go woke, go broke. Shut the fuck up, grow up, and leave your toxic ideology in the fucking lecture hall where it fucking belongs. Honest to God. Anyway, next. What ecosystems and habitats will thrive underneath 5,000 acres of solar panels? Environmentalists, anyone? Hashtag. It's fucking nonsense. Do you know how much fucking money is made in these fucking solar farms? We're literally covering farmable land in solar farms and wind farms. Think about that. Even in Britain. First of all, offshore is an option. At the very least, take it offshore. No one needs that. No one needs to make food on that bit. But no. They're fucking swapping farmland out for fucking solar farms. Imagine that. They only work for fucking part-time of the year, for part-time of the day. They're only producing the electricity for like, what is it, like 20-30% of the time? You can take one of those fucking fields and build a nuclear power plant and it'll produce the energy of 1,000 solar farms. One nuclear plant. You could build 20 of them and produce energy abundance on our little island. That's it. You don't need any wind farms, no solar farms, no coal, no gas, nothing. You can go fully electric if you build the nuclear power plants. Electric boilers, electric heaters, electric cars. Fucking solar farms. Build nuclear plants.
I thought many years ago when she arrived on the scene that Jess Phillips was a rather interesting MP and a rather interesting voice. I think she's very smart, very talented politically. And I watched her in her first years in office, and I will never personally be able to forget her response to exactly this sort of crime when it happened in Cologne on, I think it was New Year's Eve 2016, when her fellow women were mass molested in a European center, as a center of a European city. She said on Question Time that this wasn't much different to an average Saturday night in Birmingham city centre. In other words, I mean, I've got more faith in Birmingham than perhaps Jess Phillips does. I don't think that it is actually mass gang rape at all bar one in Birmingham on a Saturday night. But what she and others like her, so-called feminists, were doing was minimizing mass molestation on that occasion of grown-up women as well as underage girls, minimizing that, again, in the name of community tensions, and as a secondary thing on that occasion, smearing her own constituents. And that whole thing has been the prevailing issue of the era on this. And Jess Phillips and all these others all fell into it too.
So true. Jess Phillips is fucking evil. She's fucking evil. The reason why she's against sorting out the grooming gangs is because half of her constituency is the Muslims. And she'll lose power straight away. Evil woman. When they were talking about the Cologne attacks and stuff, and she's making it out like that's just normal part of life in a city, it's like, excuse me? No, it fucking isn't. If your city is experiencing quite a lot of sexual assaults, it's failed. It's supposed to be safe. Like I said, they need to bring bobbies back and get a police presence on the roads. Phillips laughing as MPs vote to refuse an inquiry into grooming gangs. Says it all. She's evil. People need to be cautious, because women are, obviously not all women, but women have the capacity for evil. People think that only men can be monsters. It's nothing further from the truth. Women can be just as fucking evil and diabolical and power hungry. This woman was fucking laughing because there wasn't going to be a public inquiry over rape gangs. Nobody during that entire conversation should have had a smile on their face, full fucking stop, and she was laughing. She was fucking laughing. Evil. Like Alex Jones would say, she's a fucking
If
demon.
you were a young person voting for the first time this year, then statistics show you almost certainly voted for Labour, and in doing so, you flushed your own future right down the toilet. Congratulations. Well done you. Because in 2020, Keir Starmer pledged to scrap tuition fees, making higher education accessible for all. Sounded great, didn't it? You didn't consider for a moment that Free Gear Keir might be lying to you. But here we are, 4 months into a Labour government, and surprise, surprise, they've just raised tuition fees to almost 10 grand a year. Oh dear, what a shock. That means, of course, a 3-year undergraduate degree will cost you £30,000. That's before you factor in the cost of accommodation, utilities, travel, books, groceries, and various other things. At a rough guess, your degree is going to cost you about 100 grand in total. You haven't got that sort of money, and even if your parents are fairly well off, they can't afford it either, which means if you go to university, you've got no choice but to take out an enormous loan and saddle yourself with genuinely life-ruining unpayable levels of debt. Even if it's a medical degree or an engineering degree, it's hardly worth the price. And if you were thinking about studying the arts or humanities, you can forget it. No career in the arts for you, I'm afraid, guys. Not unless you're a posh public school kid from a rich family. Realistically, a degree is entirely off the table now, isn't it? The prospect of improving yourself, raising yourself up, making making a better life for yourself snatched away from you by your wonderful Labour government, the Labour government that you voted for. Equality and inclusivity, but only for those who can afford it. Classic bit of socialism in action. They lied to you, they gaslit you, and now they've pulled the ladder up on you. But it's your own fault. You voted for them. Now you've got to suffer the consequences. Sorry about that. Maybe next time you're standing in a polling booth, you'll make better decisions.
Spot on. Absolutely spot on. How many failed promises are there now? Promised not to raise tax, did that straight away. Promised to do a government of service, well, he hasn't done that. Took away their pensioners' money, let them freeze to death. Raised tuition fees. My God. Our country doesn't produce enough advanced skill sets at the moment. That's why we import so much. We don't make enough doctors, nurses and programmers and engineers for ourselves. So Labour's increased tax, making everyone poorer, and then they've just put the advanced degrees even more out of reach for the common person. Honest to God, this Labour government, honest to God, it's a fucking shit show. They're villains. They're a fucking pantomime villain at this point. It's almost laughable. It's almost laughable at how bad they are. It's like, it gets to a point like, you know what? Is someone upstairs just fucking with us? They're just fucking with us at the minute. I mean, really? Like, this Labour government say one thing and do the opposite, and then if you disagree, they call you a right-wing racist. It's like, it gets to a point where it's like, is this a pantomime? Is the king going to come out at some point and go, April Fools, sorry, obviously we're going to get rid of him, we were just having a laugh. Okay, go and vote for someone sensible now. Is that going to happen, or do we really have to live for another 4.5 years of this living nightmare? Of course, the king's not going to come out and do anything. He couldn't if he wanted to. He doesn't have the power to. People got this idea that the king can call for an election. He can't. So he can. The king can only provoke. People think the king can just say, "Okay, that's not working. Have an election." It doesn't work like that. The king has the very, very limited ability to call for a general election if the current government overstays. So if their current government gets to 5 years and they're like, nah, fuck it, I'm not calling for an election, the king can then step in. It's incredibly strict. It's literally the only thing he can do, and it has to be when a government has overstayed its term of 5 years. So yeah, we've got 4.5 years left of this. Unless Donald Trump and Elon Musk can put so much fucking pressure on the Labour Party, they've got no option but to either change course or put it back up to the vote. But then they're going to cling on to power. But yeah, Trump and Elon, they've got rid of Trudeau. Canada's going to be better now. So I do have hope that they might, at the very least, be able to put Labour in check, slow them down, and actually just make them a little bit more considerate. They're still going to try and do the stupid shit. It's still going to be a nightmare, but at least with that scrutiny, it might just slow them down. It might just slow them down. And then in the next election, there's absolutely no way. I don't think Labour will lose, but they're not going to get a supermajority. And then we'll have an actual opposition. And we can slow them down ourselves. That's what needs to happen.
Great Britain has been turned into a playground for foreign criminals. The economic case for mass migration into Britain no longer exists. We are worse off financially per capita. We had net migration of nearly 1 million people last year. There's a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, and now there is a crime crisis. Look at these statistics. It is actually a league table for you of migrant criminals.
Look at that. Arrests per 1,000 people. British, 12. Out of every 1,000 Brits, only 12 see an arrest. I don't know if that's violent crime. Well, that would be complete, wouldn't it? Somalis. I'm surprised Somalis don't top the bill. I guess, I mean, they're pirates, aren't they? It's like they're like that's their main economic income, isn't it? Piracy? I don't know. Moroccans 70, Algerians 72.7, Iraqis 92.9, Afghans 106.9, Albanians 200, Albanians 209.8. If you line up 1,000 Albanian people, chances are 200 of them have been arrested for something. God damn it, why are they here? Why are we letting them in? That's cultural. That's only cultural. Only culture can drive crime rates so astronomically and abnormally high. It's got fuck all to do with poverty and shit, because the Jamaicans come here, they don't really do much crime. You know what I mean? We got Asians come in from the third world, yet they like commit the lowest crime. Filipinos, the Orientals, they commit fuck all crimes. And they're also coming from poor places. This is culture. Some cultures are better than others, and we have to say it out loud. Some cultures are better than others, and you don't want to mix them too much, because you have to have a dominant culture. You have to. Multiculturalism is a lie. It's a lie. When you go to another country, you adopt their culture. You respect their values. If you don't like it, you fuck off. Multiculturalism is a lie. It's a weakness, and we have to have the conversation.
So Brits, we've got 12 arrests per 1,000. Somalis, 64.6 arrests per 1,000. Moroccans, 70 per 1,000. Algerians, 72.7 per 1,000. Iraqis.
If I knew he was going to read it out, I wouldn't have done it myself. Sorry.
92.9 per 1,000. Afghans, 106.9 per 1,000. And Albanians, 209.8 per 1,000. But it actually gets worse, believe it or not, because it's emerged that there were more than 130,000 foreign national arrests in 2024. Foreign nationals were arrested at twice the rate of Brits and 3.5 times the rate for sexual offences. That's according...
3.5 times for sexual offences. Get these fucking people out of our country now. Get these fucking people out of our country. Have you got skills? Yes. Do you obey the law? Yes. Are you going to respect values? Yes. Okay, you get a chance. Deport these fuckers. They shouldn't even be in prison, because when you put them in prison, you got to feed them. Fuck off. When you're found guilty, deport them. Get them the fuck away.
To the Centre for Migration Control. Now, we've been trying to get detailed figures for ages. Regular viewers to this show will know that here at GB News, we asked for how many asylum seekers and illegal immigrants are in prison for violent or sexual offences. We submitted a Freedom of Information request for that. That was denied because they said that it would cost too much money. So we offered...
It's because it would show the government's ineptitude and cause fucking riots. That's why they won't release it.
To pay for it, and they still didn't let us do it. So there we go. But Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe has been demanding it.
I've been told by her department in response to a written question that the number of crimes committed by illegal migrants is not available through published statistics. I'm sure that the Home Office does hold the data, so would the Minister today commit to publishing that information in full?
Tory MP Nick Timothy has also been banging that drum.
1 in 50 Albanians in Britain is in jail, and nationalities including Jamaicans, Iraqis and Somalis are also disproportionately likely to...
Ha! I thought the Jamaicans were good. I got it wrong. I stand corrected.
...to be criminals. We need better...
I tell you where my bias comes from is because I actually have a friend from Jamaica, and he's like the nicest guy in the world. He's so nice. He wouldn't hurt a fucking fly. I work with him. He's a good coder as well. Lovely bloke. And that's my ignorance. I apologise. I thought all the Jamaicans would be the same.
Data to inform immigration, asylum and criminal justice policies. So will the government publish the nationality, visa and asylum status of all prison offenders?
The Daily Mail's Sue Reid published this horrific rogues gallery of asylum seekers who've committed horrific offences. This includes a list of people who've committed sexual assault, rape, violent crimes. This needs to be a part of the conversation when it comes to legal immigration and our asylum system. I think the people of Britain have had enough. It's one thing asking us to just suck it up if we're all getting richer, but we're not. We're getting poorer. And it seems that there could be some sort of cover-up here, in my view, with people in positions of power possibly not wanting us to know the true extent of migrant crime. But we all see it, we all feel it. And from the information that we do have available, we know that there is a disproportionate amount of crime committed in Britain by people who are not British. Now, we have to fix that. We shouldn't have to live like this.
It's such a shame that GB News is mainstream media because they can't go too far. Their wings are still clipped. They've still got the radical left Ofcom on their backs. And they are the social pariah of the mainstream media here in the UK, like Fox News is. But my God, thank God they're now winning. Their ratings overtook Sky News and Channel 4 News. I think they're now competing with the BBC. Not so much in direct viewership on the actual live TV, but when you look at TikTok engagement, YouTube engagement, nobody engages with Sky and BBC News. But loads of people engage with GB News. That's the message. Populism, a stop to mass migration, the enforcement of law and order. That's the message that's finally fucking winning. And it's great to see. Dear trans community, don't tell me I have to accept you for who you are when you couldn't accept yourself for who you were. Well done, Lisa. That's one of the best ones. It's a classic. It's a few years old, that meme, but it's so true. They don't even know themselves, but you got to accept them who they are. What? Make fucking sense. Let's go back to not glamorizing mental illness, and let's go back to saying what it is. Gender dysphoria. It's a mental illness. It's diagnosable. It's well documented. Some of the world's best clinical psychologists have worked in this field. We already knew what the problem was and what it is. And sometimes you've just got to let a man live his life in a dress, and we've all just got to just pretend it's normal. I don't really give a shit. Are they harming me? No. When they come to work, do they do their job? Yes. Great. Do they pay their tax? Wicked. Are they committing crimes? Whatever. Well, not whatever, but you know what I mean? They're not, so great. Are you living in peace? Good. Okay, well, you're mentally ill though, yeah? You got gender dysphoria. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, that means you're not like pretending that I have to treat you like an actual woman, right? No, I'm mentally ill. I've got gender dysphoria. Great. You do you. We need to go back to that. Anyway.
Money is debt, school makes you stupid, half of what we call medicine is drugs, and half of what we call drugs is medicine. Religion makes you ignorant of true spirituality, possession is an idea, power is a concept, and we are all God.
I like that one. I like the God one. I've explored that a lot in recent years. The religion part of that is so true. Religion stifles genuine spirituality, and I think spirituality is necessary. I got into meditating, oh god, it's maybe like 7-8 years ago now, and I used to think people were talking batshit, but like you keep doing it, and the trick is just to relax, and eventually your thoughts just play out, and you end up in a state of not like you're not thinking, but then the thoughts start coming back, and it's like you're observing your thoughts. I can't explain it. You have to meditate for a long time before you realize it's like hang on, me and what it is, that whatever that mysterious thing that is me, that's not your thoughts, and you become in this weird state of mind where your thoughts are happening and you're from an observing state. It's like you're observing the thoughts happening, and you realize, oh, what is that? And there's only one obvious conclusion, really, and it's that the soul is real. And what is the soul? What is this? Like, and religion doesn't really teach you enough. But yeah, I personally believe that consciousness is everything. We're all just the same person living a different life, and consciousness is everything. Like, without consciousness, there is nothing. Consciousness doesn't exist inside the universe. The universe exists inside consciousness. That's what I believe. And the soul is real. And I no longer believe in death. And I know, again, I sound crazy, but how else can you perceive it? Like, time is a dimension. Just because we experience a linear path doesn't stop the nature of time being a dimension. Therefore, what's the logical conclusion? You exist forever in time. When you visit that point of time, you're going to be there. And it's there forever. A moment in time. Therefore, there is no death. Right? That's how I see it anyway. California wildfires line up exactly in the same path as the California high-speed rail system. Just like the development in Hawaii, where they wanted it and the locals said, nah, fuck that. And then their homes got destroyed and now it's happening. In Hawaii, all the mega complexes are getting built, right? Because the locals won the legal battle, then a freak weather event flattened the area. Just so happens to be the areas the rich and powerful were trying to buy up for their mega structures. Or whatever it was. It's like they're making Hawaii some fucking tourist... Can't remember what it was now, but this lines up with... I fact-checked this as well, I looked at it. The red is a little bit misleading because there's extra ones, I think, since they did this. So some of them are just literally, but I think that's just how it spread. But the key part is they've been trying to get this going in California for a while, right? But people just don't want to sell their land and move off. Now they've got no choice because it's fucking worthless. It's been burnt to a fucking crisp. The buildings are gone. It will cost too much to repair. So of course you're just going to sell the land.
There's still time for another reminder about how diversity's our greatest strength. Frightening surge of incidents in the UK of people causing pile-ups and fatalities by driving on the wrong side of the road. And it's not just cars either. 988 incidents involving oncoming vehicles were reported on motorways in the year to November 17, up by 15% on 2023. Some represents an average of 19 every week. The fact that we're importing vast numbers of people from countries where safe driving practices and lane discipline are not exactly held in the highest esteem. The Telegraph reports that the surge in wrong-side motoring is being linked to foreign drivers. Taxpayers are now having to shell out for more signs reminding them that in the UK we drive on the left. Wrong-side driving linked to non-natives has directly led to loss of life, while other crashes are being caused by people driving on the wrong side of the road to flee the police. Maybe diversity's not our greatest strength.
Diversity is a fucking weakness, but not diversity of ethnicities, which most people will say. Most people, when they hear you say diversity is a weakness, they're going to say, you're racist. Now, I'm not talking about ethnicity. I'm talking about culture. And I have to drive down past London. Actually, no, I don't. Jasper does. Jasper has to drive past London on the M25 every second week. And I'm seeing it. As soon as you get close to London, everyone sticks to the right-hand side, which in London is the fast lane. You're supposed to stick to the left unless you need to overtake, and then you pull out into the right lanes. You go on the M25 now, everybody's on the right lanes, and it's so bad, in fact, that when you're coming on the M25 and you join in, if you stay on the inside lane, you can go the speed limit while all the traffic is in the fast lane. And when you look, it's all the minorities, right? Because first of all, we let them just have cars. Like, you got a license in your country, yeah. No, don't worry if they've got the same standards. Don't worry that the road signs are completely different and we drive on the other side of the road. That's, so the first thing you need to do is if you got foreigners coming here, they have to pass a British driving test. What the fuck is this nonsense where they can just take a license from their country and then come here? We need to make sure they know how to drive. But yeah, man, when you get away from London, then you see the road, you see lane discipline return, where people do stick to the left like they're supposed to. It's so weird, man. It's so weird. But yeah, I've noticed this trend. Don't know why my background's glitching. God damn. It's not a Bodach Show about a glitch, eh? I'm shocked. Not. That's a screenshot from the video. Why are you glitching in the background? Just pack it in. Pack it in. What are you doing? What's it doing? The background's all glitching. Stop glitching. Stop glitching. What? Hang on. Is it upset at something? I'm on such a powerful PC, man. This streaming lark is a motherfucker. To put it in, my second rig, my streaming PC, it's got a 16-core 32-thread processor, an up-to-date Ryzen, and it's got a fucking 4080 in it. Why the fuck is it glitching? This is like, this in PC terms, this is like having a nuclear-powered submarine. It's an incredibly powerful machine. So why the fuck is it... I mean, it's just the OBS software. It's so bad. Come on. Anyway, let's move on. Sorry, the glitching's just gonna have to be there. What the fuck? Me sitting quietly watching another episode of Diversity is Our Strength. We have to make it clarified. Like, as soon as you say diversity is not our strength, people are just going to go to race. All they hear is, you think brown people shouldn't be here. That's, we have to distinctly say cultural diversity. Cultural diversity is not a strength. Countries can't have different cultures. You need a shared value system. You need to go anywhere in the country knowing that although there's differences and there's history and there's local culture, there is an overriding national culture at play. Like Britain, for example, Liverpool has a culture, Manchester has a culture, London has a culture, but there should still be a supreme kind of British culture, British value system that overrides everything, right? There should always be a Britishness everywhere. You have to distinctly say cultural diversity because people just play the race card straight away. But yeah, I think that was the rest of me memes. Fucking what the fuck is going on with that video in the background? The problem is this fucking shit happens when I start streaming. We're glitching. Alright, we've started again. Yeah, right, see. I am done. I am done. I am done with knowledgeable fisticuffs. That glitch is really winding me up. I'm a perfectionist. And that's going to wind me up. I'm not going to be able to focus on anything else until I've ended this stream and gone and figured out what the fuck is causing that. Why is my earth in the background? Fucking glitching. This is not the greatness I expect, Jasper. You better sort that out. Anyway, let's move on to some bro code moderation. Oh, Jasper, the teleporting still tingles, mate. What's up? Oh, God. Knowledgeable fisticuffs. Wait, hang on. So my stream started to glitch like a motherfucker. Oh, my God. One day I will have a stream about glitching. It's the boys. Hello, Friday Night Frankie. How are you, my friend? Don't think I've seen you here before. As you know, people, I am the owner of the broco.org. And I need to moderate it. So I thought, you know what better way, what better time to moderate the bro code than during a stream. It's a lot of fun. So the bro code is something that I built a long time ago. It's a long time ago. Let me have a look. Full. So this is the website. Douchey. Let's do cinematic view this week. Oh, okay, check it out. This is the bro code, my website. I built this as a sort of hobby project maybe 10 years ago, something like that. It's the democratic process of Hang on, is it? What is going on? Let's make that a little bit bigger. So yeah, cool. Let me get that. There we go. That's better. So this is the bro code, built it a while, and this is the Reddit page. As you can see, hang on. Let me just. I'm just cautious. Just cautious. These are my personal accounts. So anyway, this is the Facebook page. As you can see, it's doing quite well. I really do wish that many followers follow Bodach. We've also got the Reddit community that we need to moderate tonight, and the website. So the website is great. I'll go through it quickly. This is the code. You can sign up to the bro code and submit a bro code, and it goes into the collection pot. If you like any of these, you can vote for them, and when enough people vote for them, they make it into the main code. But it doesn't stop there. Let's say you've got the classic Bros Before Hoes. If you think you can word that in a better way, you can suggest a new way to word it by clicking on the amends. And as you can see, this particular wording is the current leader, Bros Before Hoes, and a hoe is defined as any woman that is not your wife or direct family. The original was obviously just Bros Before Hoes, but people preferred this. It got voted up. Now it's the way. So yeah, I made a legislative process for the bro code. Anyone can sign up, anyone can join in. All you got to do is convince your bros it's a good idea, and it will make it into the bro code. And if, again, you can change the wording. So yeah, not the busiest site in the world, but this is how we moderate. This is how I do it. Feel free to sign up and join in. I would love for the bro code to finally become and realize the potential I think it would have. But yeah, you can go to brocode.org. We do need a ratified bro code, especially in these dark times. Yes, Fright Night Frankie, that is exactly what I'm trying to do. But when a bro fails, laugh and then help him up. See, that's a good code. You know, that's a good code. You should laugh at your bros in their misfortune. That's part of being a good friend. Only real ones will laugh. Tough love. So I don't really understand that one. So for me, I'll move back to a comment. Some people might put a comment there. So yeah, Doge. But yeah, that's cool. And that was it. That's how busy it is. There's been one suggestion since last Sunday, but the Reddit tends to be more active, which it hasn't been. Hang on. Wait, where's the most recent one? Hot, new. There you go, new. Right. Let's have a look at these. Yeah, so join in the bro code. Join the Reddit. The only thing is there's a lot of shit about girls for some reason. Sounds super gay. Oh. I've already moderated it. There's not much moderating to do actually, because it's not very busy. That's disappointing. Right, let's have a look at this. The bro code manual, the brosaurus. Oh yeah. Fucking wanker. Fuck, wanker's trying to poach it. No eye contact during the devil's free rate. I think that's on there. I think that's on there. Fright Night. Frankie, I'm just gonna call you Frankie. I just can't open that yet. So you just got to find some stuff I haven't moderated. Let's have a look. What's this one? Okay. We'll go for this one. Let's go for this one. Friend A, B, and C. Friend A has a girlfriend, and for months, all he can do is complain and stress about her and what he should do. Friend B and C do everything they can to console friend A and guide him on the path to a happy relationship with the girl. That is until the girl started to cross several lines of respect with friend A, escalating the problems. At some point, the advice from friend B and C turned into maybe it's time to cut bait and get out for his own sanity and happiness. Well, after 6 or more months, what does friend A do? Completely cuts off his 2 friends to pursue a relationship with the girl he's been complaining about for almost a year. Shots all round for the fallen bro. He is, I mean, a lot of women are kind of just toxic, right? when they decide that they don't like the friends or whatever, or they fall out with the friends, it gets quite toxic. But it depends how the woman approaches it. I've got to be honest. I mean, Jasper's got this bird in his life at the minute, and she's not one of these women that's like, oh, don't like you speaking to him, but she's not. It's not like she just keeps quiet either. Like, but yeah, I feel like Jasper's outgrown a few mates. And I think it's right for him to prioritise the woman, because there's a future there. There's a future with the woman, but with these mates that he's outgrown, that's just a reminder to him of the past that he's long since left behind. And to remain friends can sometimes drag you back into that past, a past that you don't have an interest in staying. But yeah, I remember Jasper's ex, man, fucking nutter. Just blindly hated everyone and wanted him all to himself, and it made him miserable. So, you know, I don't know what these friends are. These friends that didn't grow up the same way as the friend, or is the woman actually just a fucking bitch? You just don't know. But yeah, here's to a fallen bro. I need like a beer emoji. Where's the beer emoji? The thing about the fucking PC is there is a beer mug emoji. Come on. Yes, copied. Let's do a little beer emoji. Boom. But this is what I've got to deal with on the Reddit. It's not as busy, but honest to God, follow it. It's a good thing. You do get advice on here. It's pretty cool. Have a great one, bro. I'll send some MMA heads your way when I go live later. Oh, thank you very much, Frankie. I'm not going to be streaming much longer, mate. I normally stream around 10 till 12. And it's now 5:15. I just want to bash out a couple of these mods and then I'm going to call it a night. But yeah, hang on. I'll just drop me fucking pen. I can't take my notes off. Right, got it. Oh, Frankie, mate, if you're in the MMA community, this Thursday, we're doing the MMA quiz. It normally goes down really well with the MMA guys. They you know what that fucking community's like. The guy who gets to prove that he knows more about MMA gets outrageously good bragging rights. And my quiz will find you out. So yeah, if there's some help there, Frank, if you're offering some help to push some people my way, may I make a request for Thursday? MMA, musical MMA also helps me out a lot with that. He also helps me find the guests as well, if I have guests on. But yeah, if your MMA quiz, honestly, that if that help is on offer, mate, I'd like it on the Thursday, because I feel like that's the stream for them. I'm more of a conspiracy and current events sort of comedy, meme type of streamer, and I do a bit of MMA. I'm not an outright MMA guy. I love MMA myself. I'm just not my content. Oh, nice, mate, Frankie. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I cannot wait to be in a position to help other people out. I'm really looking forward to that bit. I'd love to have like an audience, and then when I get to the end of my stream, like find someone who's on the up and say, go and give them some love. I'd love all that. I love all that stuff. Like, I can't wait to be able to do it myself. I'll be live about 1 a.m. tonight. I'll give you... Oh, mate, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Anyway, I'll go crack on this moderation, then I can go to bed. Is the grammar. Is this violation? Is this a violation of the code if I continue? Myself and a long-term female friend are going away early next year. We've been friends for years, and when we stay in a hotel, because we've known each other for so long, we share a room and bed as we're just friends. That's okay. She's recently informed me she's began dating a mutual friend of ours. I can't in good faith continue to let the plan for us to share a room bed go ahead as soon as she's seeing someone, right? Of course. Oh, can't spell, dude. Of course, that's now out of bounds, dude. It's like he wants someone to tell him that it's good. Yeah. Yep. Get another room. Sorry, Frankie. Yes, there is a cross promotion with the conspiracy theory stuff. We've usually end up talking about MMA for 5 minutes, then it turns into male support group. That's exactly what my stream is. It's like it's a cry for help. So cry for help. The bro code is a male support group. I talk about conspiracies, and I've appealed to the MMA community since I started streaming. I do have a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and like when I'm watching the fights, I can actually call it. I can actually call a fight. I can identify like grappling mistakes and stuff like that. And yeah, I've been told to do more of it. It's just I haven't trained in jiu-jitsu for a long time now, and it is just a blue belt. I mean, if you go to any jiu-jitsu class, almost everyone's a fucking blue belt, because you get to blue belt quite quickly. It only takes you like a few years, but from the blue belt to the black belt, that's like another you know what I mean? You can get to blue belt in a few years, but black belts, that's a decade of your life. You know what I mean? If that's minimum. If you're in a dojo or a class that gives people a black belt who haven't put in like 10 odd years in, they're probably being way too liberal with their rewards, and that's not really a good black belt to have. Your black belt should be really fucking hard, because it should be one of the biggest achievements in your life. So I am just a blue belt, and I've never competed, and it was traditional jiu-jitsu as well, not combat jiu-jitsu. So I wore the gi. Yeah, this new jiu-jitsu, these new guys that don't train with a gi and stuff, the combat jiu-jitsu guys, they would make mincemeat out of me. You see, when you do the traditional, you don't just get the sort of self-defense stuff, you get all the fluff. You get the fluff. Like combat jiu-jitsus, they're not putting much time into wrist locks and stuff. Wrist manipulation, yeah, that's just so you can establish control and stuff, but you know, in traditional jiu-jitsu, you learn the silly things as well. And I actually really like the silly things. But obviously, if someone's trying to stab you, getting hold of their other hand and trying to twist their wrist in a way it's not supposed to bend, they're going to be stabbing you. It's like, you know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. I could probably still put someone to sleep if I wanted to, but if I needed to even. But yeah. Some people liked my analysis of some fights. That's pretty cool, actually. But anyway, sorry. Back to moderating. Yes, it's another room. Yeah, I think that one's been answered, isn't it? Let's have a look. What else we got? I think I'm nearly done for the evening. I think I'm nearly done. It's always a fucking about a girl, though, isn't it? Right, I'm going to do this last one, and then I'm going to call it a night. Can I hypothetically date this girl that my bro talked to? So, one of my bros was talking to a certain girl at our school for a month or two. Oh, we're talking about young love. And she was one of our mutual friends that we would both talk to and send reels and TikToks to each other and stuff. Oh, young love. Isn't it so innocent? They share TikToks. That's adorable. So, after a while, she tried to put me on with one of her friends. So I would end up texting her a bit more often than I had texted her prior. My bro wasn't happy with this, but he didn't tell me, and was talking about me to her behind my back. Oof, a bit harsh. And they would argue a lot. And they eventually stopped talking. The girl that I was put on with didn't work out, but me and my bro's ex talking stage were still friends. Okay, they were still talking. Here is where the problem comes in. I think my bro is mad at me for still being friends with his ex. I mean, yeah, that is a bit weird. Even though nothing serious happened between the two of them, I still talk to her. And I think I've caught some feelings for her as well. I don't know, however, if it is against a bro code to date her. I don't think that he has let it go. I am still friends with her, as he still makes it seem like I am the bad guy in this situation. Ever since they stopped talking and I became better friends with her, he's been doing things that I didn't before, and got on my nerves a lot. So what I am wondering is, can I talk to my friend's ex without it breaking bro code? As they never had a serious relationship happening. Okay, that's a tricky one. If they didn't do more than just talking, then you guys were on equal footing. If he was truly your bro, he'd be happy. Yeah. See, it's not an ex, is it? It's not an ex. It's not an ex unless they were in a relationship. What exes are not right. And it's not right, is it? It's not right. You shouldn't be talking if your mates had like this ex and stuff. You shouldn't be friends with them, man. Like, it's weird. It is weird, and you can't date your exes. Oh, not your exes, I mean, you can't date your mates' exes. It's unbecoming of a bro. And there's so many women out there. Why do you need to be dating your mates' exes? Anyway, I think that's my bro code moderating done. Right, I will. Sorry, I'm going to call it a night. Just to let you know, I'll be back on Tuesday, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. We'll have the Mean Mirror. And join me on Thursday for the first MMA quiz for UFC 311. There's going to be a MMA quiz before every major UFC card. And yeah, they normally go down well. Everyone gets to play from home. You get to play from home. When you do join the quiz, though, try and have 2 screens, because you need to watch the stream, but you also need to have a web page open with my quiz controller in. So you sign up, you play, you set your name, and as the quiz goes along, you have to answer the questions in real time. And we have a leaderboard. It's all real. It's all live. Yeah. So look out for that on Thursday, and every single Thursday there's going to be a quiz. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. This has been the Bodach Show. Please like and subscribe and all that lovely algorithm juice that helps your favourite creators grow. And I'll see you on Tuesday. It still tingles, Jasper. God damn this time.